Is it a point you reach a point where when it's obvious players are hurting that you simply have to change things because they are not their best selves? Kyle, Jimmy, others maybe who are dealing.
No, look, we're not going to make any kind of deflection or any kind of excuse. Boston beat us tonight, and let's be clear about that. There's guys that are far from 100% on both sides, and that's why this is, just intense competition. It's playoff basketball. Even as poorly as we played offensively, we still were able to compete, defensively and hold them under 100. For the most part this season, when we've been able to keep teams under 100, we've been extremely successful. Sometimes that just happens. I would say for 3/4 of the game, or at least close to 3/4 of the game, I really liked a lot of the execution and the looks we were getting. We missed, a lot of open threes, and some other shots, either like around the basket or in the circle, at the rim that we normally make. And I thought we were staying the course, throughout all the misses, and staying mentally, tough, through all those moments, and then at the end of the third, those last probably 3 or 4 minutes of the third, and then into the fourth, I think the consecutive missed shots, open shots started to affect us, on the other end, and we started to break down a little bit on the other end. But we just have to stay the course, even as disappointing and as frustrating as this game, can be. We get on to Boston and come together and just figure that one out and come back here on the 29th.
Against a really good Celtics defense that has so many good defenders and it's kind of sagging guys into the paint. How tough is it to find that fine line between not settling for the outside shot, but also not trying to force anything inside?
I thought, like I said, I thought we did a pretty good job. I thought, our ability to generate the looks that we're accustomed to getting was arguably, maybe the best of the series, through 2.5 quarters of it. And then just the consecutive misses of open shots, I think affected us a little bit. I'll have to see. I think those open threes are the shots that we've made all year long. So that our guys are ignitable. You just see it, 2 or 3 of those go. All of a sudden, our guys feel like that's 10 in a row. That can turn, in a hurry. It didn't tonight. What I was hoping to see was, even through all the misses and some of the frustrating offensive possessions, that you still stay the course and make this a legit throwback playoff game where it ends up being in the high 80s or low 90s, and you give yourself a chance at the end. But we just weren't able to overcome those the inefficiency offensively. But I do want to get to the film. I know everybody says that afterwards, but I feel like we got shots in our wheelhouse for a large part of the night.
Erik, it seemed like Gabe gave you good energy off the bench, but Kyle and Max have made, I think, 1 shot between them in 2 games. Do you think they're pressing at all at this stage?
No, I don't. I think it's an easy thing to point to. If you have an open shot, you take it, you shoot it. Like that. Those are shots, that are fully into the context of what we do. I don't think either one of them played outside of themselves. Those are the offensive possessions that we've had, for a large part of the season. And even a lot of our actions and just how the offense was functioning, I thought was way more in our wheelhouse. We were much more purposeful and intentional. If you remove the emotion, of the misses, I don't even know. Okay, yeah, that's not a great 3-point percentage. I mean, we all felt it, we all saw it. That's why I want to be objective about it. You know, they did block a couple of our threes, and look, they're a great defense. So it's not like we're going to score 130. What I'm looking at is, are we getting shots in our wheelhouse, shots that are in our strength zones? And if we're missing some of those shots, you can't, panic and just try to reinvent things. I know how ignitable our guys are. That can turn in a hurry, particularly on the road.
Ethan mentioned Gabe, and a lot of those guys are applying a lot of ball pressure, and you're trying to force turnovers. It seemed like you're getting those turnovers in the first half. In the second half, Boston, is it as simple as Boston cleaning it up and not giving you those live ball turnovers, or is it something else?
Yeah, again, Coop, I don't know if it's realistic to hold them to 79. In the playoffs, if you're holding them to 93, you think that, hold them under 100, you got a great chance to win it at home. Yes, there were some breakdowns defensively. I think the breakdowns happened, in the fourth quarter, just after a lot of frustrating, misses and shots that we're normally used to seeing go down. I think that probably affected us a little bit, but those are in the margins. I think defensively we did enough, certainly, in a playoff game to put ourselves in a position to win. We also had probably 4 or 5 deflections, hands on it. We're there. We're used to seeing those, turn into steals, and somehow, a cloud of dust, and they ended up with it and would hit a big one after that. There was just some really unfortunate bounces and things that led to baskets after a deflection.
Even when Boston had their 2 bigs out there, you went small when Bam wasn't in the game. What did you see that kind of got you to go that way, and how did you think that those lineups fared tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was good. And I thought I thought we were executing with purpose, with intention. It's not all perfect. We had some turnovers along the way, at key times when we had leads that possibly we could have pushed it a little bit further along. But again, I do think that we did get some open looks and shots that are in our offense, which is tough to generate against a really good defense, and tougher, to generate the further you go along in the playoffs. But open looks are things that we'll continue to build on.
How's the locker room right now? This is the first time this group has been in this situation.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy this. You do. Every time you're going to have, if you want to break through and punch a ticket to the finals, you're gonna have to do some ridiculously tough stuff. And getting on to Boston and figuring that out collectively, those are the emotions and those breakthroughs that you have that you remember the rest of your life, and bring this thing back on the 29th. That's all we talked about in there.
Spo, you mentioned several times in the last few days, at this stage in a series, everybody's dealing with something. Specific to Jimmy, how much do you think his knee issue is impacting the way he's been able to play in these last couple of games?
We're not making excuses for anything. We're not deflecting anything. We're not making excuses for it. We lost the game today. We had a tough loss in Boston. We're still alive. We got an opportunity to play in front of a great crowd. And an opportunity, to make a memory that you'll remember for a long time. That's all we're thinking about right now. And we have the kind of warriors that are going to tape up, brace up, do whatever we got to do to get ready for the next one, and just embrace and enjoy that competition.
Hey, Spo. Jimmy Butler lives at the free throw line typically, not talking about his knee specifically, but only 6 free throws in the last 3 games. How do you get him back to the charity stripe?
Yeah, I think he had some really good, clean looks. On the way they're playing him, he might not be able to just barrel down there and create a bunch of contact. He missed probably 3 or 4 that are right at the rim in the circle, then a couple, other pull-ups, and that's just the the way the game goes. You make a few of those. Now if guys are leaning, he knows what to do with the rest of it. No, we're not making any excuses for any kind of health or anything like that. We're just going to figure it out, and get on up there to Boston and enjoy that competition.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.